But first, we begin with major developments in the Middle East. 24 hostages held by Hamas now free and back in Israel, according to the country's military. They were released as a 4-day ceasefire went into effect today. The IDF released this footage claiming to show the moment the hostages entered Israeli territory, where they received an initial medical assessment. Israel has also released dozens of Palestinian prisoners as part of this deal. Now, the 4-day ceasefire came into effect over Gaza at 7 a.m. local time this morning. And as the truce came into effect, Israeli tanks were seen leaving northern Gaza. Then Israeli officials confirmed to CBS News just after 5 p.m. local that 13 hostages held by Hamas had been released. Qatar, who helped broker the deal, then confirmed 39 women and children detained in Israeli prisons had been released. Now, some Palestinians clashed with Israeli forces in the West Bank ahead of that release. Now, Qatar says that along with the 13 Israeli citizens, 10 Thai nationals and 1 Filipino national were also released. Now, joining us now with more from Israel is CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams. Holly, thank you for joining us. Tell us about the process of today's hostage release and where are they now?
Sure, it's been a very long day, Omar. We first heard that this initial group of 13 hostages would be released today, all of them women and children. We first heard about that yesterday. However, we didn't get any names, no confirmation of their identities, although we understand that their families here in Israel were told. We were told by the authorities that they would be released at 4 o'clock local time. Predictably, it didn't happen on time. It was late. But finally, we saw that video of the hostages in Red Cross vehicles. They'd been handed over by Hamas to the Red Cross in the Gaza Strip, and they were then driven into Egypt. Also, just to reiterate what you said today, there were 10 hostages from Thailand and 1 from the Philippines. That's according to Qatar. They were released in a separate deal. So that is not part of this main deal between Israel and Hamas. Just to remind you of the details of that deal, at least 50 hostages will be released by Hamas in return for 150 Palestinian prisoners, many of them children, and a 4-day pause in the fighting, which will also allow hundreds of trucks of aid to make their way into the Gaza Strip, carrying things like cooking oil and fuel for hospitals. Now, the hostages are now in Israel. We understand that they're actually en route being driven to a military base in the south of the country. Israel's military has said that from there they'll travel in helicopters to hospitals where they will finally be reunited with their families. We've now had confirmation of their identities from Israel's government. They include 4 young children, the youngest of which is just 2 years old, 3 mothers of those children, and 6 older women. And one of those older women had actually previously been reported as killed. So that is quite extraordinary.
And Holly, here in New York, there's been some tension, obviously, and in the U.S., because everybody, the eyes of the world are watching this. But you have a unique perspective. You're in Israel. What has the reaction been in Israel to today's events?
Well, Omar, I think earlier today there was this sense of kind of nervous anticipation here. This country is so bruised, is in so much pain after the October 7th attacks and the ongoing hostage situation. They were so hungry for positive news. We actually watched the release on television with some of our Israeli colleagues, and I can tell you it was incredibly emotional for them. They were ecstatic, but they were also weeping with this kind of profound sense of relief. Of course, the emotions that people are feeling here are not just about those 13 hostages who were released today, but this sense of hope that this may continue. We spoke with one young man earlier today who told us that he has 2 female relatives who are believed to be amongst the hostages. He said that they probably won't be on that list of 50 who will be released under this deal. But he said that, you know, one deal could lead to another deal, could lead to another deal, and more hostages being released. And for that reason, he's very optimistic. Remember also that there's been a lot of pressure on Israel, including from the US, to do a deal to reach a temporary pause in fighting and the release of at least some of the hostages. And domestically here in Israel, there's been enormous pressure on the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, in part because his government is blamed by many people here for the security failures that allowed the October 7th attacks to happen. And in part for that reason, he's been under enormous pressure to do something to bring the hostages home.
You mentioned the tension and the pressure on the Israeli government, but there's also a lot of tensions across the Middle East, but also people watching here. They're watching this ceasefire. Experts are telling us it is fragile. Is the ceasefire holding?
Look, it started at 7 a.m. local time this morning, and so far it does seem to be mostly holding. That said, just after 9 o'clock local time, a CBS cameraman captured automatic gunfire ringing out in the Gaza Strip, apparently as a large group, looked like several hundred Palestinians, attempted to head north back to their homes in northern Gaza, which they'd evacuated during the fighting. Israel's military had warned people in Gaza not to do that, and they say that they're looking into exactly what happened. Clearly, the hope amongst many people in this region around the world is that this temporary ceasefire turns into something more permanent, however unlikely that may seem. And under the deal, Hamas is incentivized because every 10 extra hostages that it hands over mean an extra day of this temporary ceasefire. Remember that Israel says that more than 200 hostages were taken to the Gaza Strip, although Hamas has told us that around 60 of them were killed in Israeli airstrikes. Of course, that's not something that we can independently confirm.
Holly Williams keeping an eye on a very fluid situation in Israel. Thank you very much, Holly. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Bo Erickson. He's with the president in Nantucket. Bo, what have you heard from the White House regarding the release of these hostages?
We were just told by the White House that President Biden multiple times today has been briefed by his national security team about the latest developments on this hostage release and how it is going. The White House frequently says that no matter where the president is in the U.S. or around the world, that he can continue to do his job and act as the commander-in-chief and make these high octane decisions for the country. And that also applies to here in Nantucket, just off Massachusetts. With the Biden family, President Biden is, there's also top staffers specifically from the National Security Council here to facilitate these type of meetings. But when I think of one word about kind of how the U.S. feels watching these small groups of hostages leave Gaza, that word is delicate, Omar. President Biden, when he sees press on the island, he's crossing his fingers, saying fingers crossed that this deal holds and that more hostages are able to leave, especially those Americans that were watching that we know that are in Gaza.
I mean, we know that the National Security Council, I'm sure the White House as well, are plugged into this as much as they can be. But what are the next steps here for the U.S. and from the U.S. perspective in trying to get more hostages released, as you mentioned, including the 3 Americans who are being held?
Yeah, for the past few days, top U.S. officials have really pointed to 3 Americans specifically, 2 women and then a very young girl who was 3, but today is actually her 4th birthday, according to a senior administration official. So if you can just imagine how scary that is to be held against her will on her 4th birthday. And that just really details the stakes of what the U.S. is advocating for to get these about 10 Americans out of Gaza. The next steps, they say, if and when these Americans are able to leave Gaza, the Americans will go to medical facilities and go for some medical treatment. U.S. officials have said that they've been being held in abhorrent conditions, so we are unsure right now of their current health status. And then U.S. officials are saying that if and when they are deemed healthy enough to travel, the U.S., if these hostages want to, will facilitate their travel basically anywhere they want to reignite with their families.
A lot of moving parts. Bo Erickson, thank you very much.